So thank you again here. We have our partners who are with us, all coming in, of course, a member of New Orleans City Council, our special agents with ABO, ATF, as well as FBI, ATF, Crime Stoppers, and the New Orleans Police Department. What we will do right now, I'm going to turn over to Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, who will begin of our press conference. You ready, Chief?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Well, good afternoon. I'm joined today by Mayor LaToya Cantrell, members of the City Council, my deputy chiefs, Captain LeJean Rock of the 8th, Captain Kevin Burns from our division, members of our city public safety team, as the mayor say, law enforcement partners. I also want to acknowledge that we have the executive director of our Crime Stop here with us, Ms. Darlene Kuzanza. Also, I believe Mark Romeg is here.
We have Kelly Short.
Okay, thank you for being here. Kelly is with us from the New Orleans and Company. We're here today to provide information on a tragic incident that occurred overnight in the 800 block of South Peter that took the life of one victim and left 11 others. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of these victims, as well as those who were injured in this event. When I arrived last night on the scene, I saw this young woman lying on the ground. I did immediately pray for the comfort of this family and friends who up this morning grieving deeply. Our victims are not just stats to us. We must speak in terms of stats, but we know there is always a loved one behind every single number. What we can say about this time is happened around right before midnight last night. Our 8th District officers responded to a call of a shooting at the station. When they arrived, officers found a female that I just referenced. She had been shot, and she was declared deceased on the scene. While officers were on the scene, they received multiple reports of other victims with gut wounds from this incident, arriving at hospitals for treatment. Overall, there were 7 adult female victims, 18 are deceased victims, and 5 adult male victims, all injured by gunfire. Our homicide section detectives are actively investigating this incident and working to identify those responsible. As we're still in the preliminary stages of investigation, I'm not able to go into additional details at this time, but when any updates do become available, we will make you aware. We have also been in touch with our law enforcement partners, as you know, in regards to any assistance that may be needed as the investigation moves. Public safety is no doubt our #1 top priority for New Orleans. And it is at this time in our most recent gathering of crime statistics, violent crime is indeed currently down 29% overall, and homicides are down 35%. But looking back, we have not had any kind of reported shootings in the 800 block of St. Peter Street since March of 2022. We're asking anyone with information that can assist in the ongoing investigation to contact our homicide division by calling 504-658-5300 or to report information anonymously. We ask that you call Crime Stoppers by calling 504-822-1111. If you call Crime Stoppers, we don't want your name. We just want your information. While we continue to investigate this incident, I can also report to you that arrests have been made in 2 unrelated shooting incidents from this year, including the arrest of the suspect in the homicide last week of Woods End. This morning, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office arrested Tyrell Gilmore in that particular investigation. Suspect Gilmore is currently being held in Jefferson Parish and will be transported back to Orleans Parish to face a charge of second-degree murder in that investigation. I want to commend our homicide section, who is present here right now. Thank you for your diligence in working to identify and locate this particular suspect. I also want to thank Sheriff Lopinto and the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office for their assistance. Additionally, police in Georgia just arrested Michael Bates Browder. The NOPD 8th District detectives had identified this particular individual as the perpetrator of a shooting that occurred, if you recall, on Mardi Gras night, February the 13th, in the 100 block of Royal Street. On April 12th, Bates Browder was transported back to New Orleans and booked here on multiple charges, including attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery by shooting, criminal damage to property, illegally carrying of weapons for the obstruction of justice. I want to underscore that these arrests should tell you that if you pull a trigger of a gun in New Orleans, we will find you. I want to thank our 8th District detectives for their hard work on this case to identify and locate this particular subject as well. I also want to thank our federal partners who assisted in transporting this individual back to Orleans Parish to our custody. And at this time, I'll turn the podium over to our Honorable Mayor, LaToya Cantrell.
Thank you, Chief. And just to, on behalf of the residents of our city, just very sorry about the loss of our victim who succumbed to her injuries on last night and on the scene. Absolutely to those other victims as well. But make no mistake about it, and you've heard this from Chief Ann, that public safety remains our top priority. The New Orleans Police Department, our officers are doing everything possible to bring justice and working in partnership with all of our law enforcement agencies, and I too say thank you. We're going to ensure every step that we bring justice. And this is not tolerated in the city of New Orleans at all. So with that, I am going to ask Councilmember Harris, and she will be followed by Councilmember Thomas to also express their condolences on behalf of the city and share any comments that they want to share with you all and the public at this time. Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, Mayor Cantrell. Thank you, Superintendent Kirkpatrick. I also want to thank the 8th District who's handling the investigation of this crime. To have 7 women shot down and 5 men shot is unacceptable in our city. It's unacceptable in District B, and I want to give my condolences to the young woman who was killed. I also want to wish the victims a speedy recovery. But I do want to reiterate that if you pull a trigger or commit a crime in Orleans Parish, you will be caught. So I encourage anybody who has any information about this incident to come forward. You heard that you can call Crime Stoppers and report anonymously, or you can call the homicide unit directly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilmember Harris, Chief Kirkpatrick, men and women of law enforcement. Violence hasn't knocked at the front door of the house for my family. Violence kicked the door in. Lonnie, Paige, Nick, and Daryl. So when you talk about violence, my family and my friends, we understand not only how terrible it is, but how close it is and how too prevalent it is. For all of the families of victims, understand that collectively we can get through this. Working together, we can get through this. And what a few evil people do is not exemplary of the people, good people who are fighting every day, the officials here who are fighting every day. So even though I name the names of family members and friends and loved ones, my family hasn't given. We don't accept the labels of a violent city and a city that can't be saved. We don't accept the labels of children who we can't turn around and invest in and pray for. And we don't accept the fact of giving up. We love New Orleans. We'll continue to live in New Orleans. We'll continue to fight for New Orleans. But Chief, the thing that I like about this immediate response is all of the agencies and partners here, and I talked to one of the young men, they already have an understanding of what's happening in our streets. Our police department right now, Chief, isn't just reactive. There's a level of proactivity, gathering evidence and who the players are. The people in the community, you guys know who the players are. You know who the repeat offenders are. It's time for us to make sure that if they're on the side of hurting our families, we have to be lined up with the people behind us in protecting our families. I don't want any other family to experience the grief and the loss and the tragedy like the people in my family feel. But I want to thank all the men and women here today because I think this represents a new day. And what I think is really important about this, Mayor and Chief, is that we need to get ahead of the retaliation. Retaliation in this town is real. And if we can gather information, if we can identify who the players are before they retaliate and respond, then we can save the lives of a lot more kids and more people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Council Member. And at this time, I would love to have Ms. Darlene Costanza please come forward. Darlene, thank you so much.
Just echoing all the words that have been said here, Crime Stoppers, you know, is an opportunity for you to give the information. You can send videos, you can upload photos, but everything's done in a way that you're protected because it's anonymous. So today we're saying this cannot continue, and certainly Councilman Oliver Thomas said it very well. If you have information about retaliation, the tips that we've received so far, we appreciate you. Whether it's vehicles you saw in the area, surveilling the area, whether it's names that you think might be out for retaliation, we need you to give that information swiftly. Now, Crime Stoppers is here today to announce a $5,000 cash reward. $5,000 cash. You're never identified. We need that for the arrest in this case. But we're also adding to the fact that no one should be pulling these triggers. No one should be shooting up our streets. You give us the weapon that happened to land the fatal shot or involved in any of these shootings, it's $1,000 for that weapon. If there's more than one weapon, and I don't have that information, but it's $1,000 for every weapon that could be linked to this crime. So again, the money's there. The ability for you to come anonymously without fear is there. Just make the call or go online to crimestoppersgno.org and send us your information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief.
So this is what we can share with you today. We thank you for coming forward. I think you may have a question or two. Is that right? Okay.
We'll start from the left. Remember, 2 rounds of questions. First round will be concerning the Peter Street incident. Second round will be concerning the 2 clearances by arrest. So we'll start to our left right here, Carly with Axios.
Hi, Chief Colonel Douglas. Do you have any updates about the hospitalized victims and what their conditions are, how serious they are?
Actually, I'm going to turn to Chief Lebrano. Chief Lebrano is the chief over the investigative unit, and he may have the most current information. As of this morning, they were stable, but Chief Lebrano, I'm going to ask you, you might answer most of the questions.
That's correct, Superintendent. As of this morning, the remaining 11 victims were all in stable condition or had been released. I don't have that number, an updated number yet.
Any details that you guys can provide on the EMS response last night, how quickly they were on scene, how many units were arrived on scene as to the mass shooting event?
They transported 4, so no issues with it.
Actually, Captain.
Yeah,
Roberts,
Captain
I
Roberts
oversees the
commanded
captain
8th
over that
District.
So his people were the ones on the scene first.
Yes,
Go ahead,
a
Captain.
lot of the victims arrived at the hospital via private conveyance. Several were transported by EMS. It was rather quickly. Yes, they were there within minutes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Whitney Miller here. Were any concern about the location in which this started at? You know, I think they have an event there weekly or something like that. Any concern about that? And also, do we know if this is originally an argument? Do we know what started this?
We did do a look into the history of the 800 block, and as I shared with you, there was one other event in March of 2022 involving gunfire. Other than that, over a 3-year period now. And with respect to what we know last night, all we know is really what we've shared with you right now. As things develop, if we get other indicators, we'll share with you when we can. Okay.
Surveillance camera that's nearby, did that catch anything?
We were able to look at those cameras. And again, because this is a very early investigation, we don't want to give out a lot of information.
According to the major offense log, some other victims sustained injuries that weren't related to gunfire. Can you share the nature of those injuries and their condition of those individuals?
Unless someone knows differently, you can address that.
Concerning this incident, so originally when all the information came in, we believe we had 11 victims. After the hospital, after everybody went to the hospital, it was determined that we had 12. That's including the decedent that was on scene. So that would be 11 surviving victims with some type of injury related to a gunshot wound.
Regarding the suspect, of course, there's no one, on the table right now, but has there anyone come forward yet in terms of, witnesses or anything that have given y'all any kind of hope to move forward a little bit in the suspect chase?
So detectives are running down investigative leads right now, but as the superintendent said, it's kind of too early on to release any of that information.
Going back to the response time, I know someone said it was minutes. We're hearing from eyewitnesses that we interviewed that it took about 10 minutes for response, and 10 minutes seems like a long time to respond to a mass shooting. Can you give us clarity on the exact response time if you have that?
I don't have the exact response time as it relates to what time the EMS took the first victim off scene or when they arrived. But a lot of those individuals that were on scene, they arrived via private conveyance at UMC and as well as Auctioner West Bank.
The reason I ask because 10 minutes seems like a long time. You have a victim that died on the scene. I mean, maybe if EMS had got there earlier, maybe they could have got some work being done.
Can't speculate.
Yeah, we can't speculate on that, sir, but we know EMS did arrive on scene and transported some of the victims.
We can look into that online and get you some information offline to that response time. And I know a lot of you have been stern saying that, we need to get these guns off the streets, but we have legislation right now that have concealed as carry. And we hear council members say, it's going to be hard for NOPD to kind of, I guess, get these guns. I mean, how do you kind of go into working to rectify that? I mean, you have so many guns.
Say it all the time in regards to the law. Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to speak to it? We've been pretty consistent, but I'm going to let the chief, FOBs.
So that is a concern for us. However, we are looking into new ways in which we can attack the problem with guns. We're not prepared to say that yet, but that is definitely a discussion we've been having, all the captains and also the Investigative Services Bureau as well. So we think we do have a pretty good plan in place, but to give you what we're going to do right now would be counterproductive.
It's also important on the press to put pressure on the governor and the legislature, not to spin the stories about just what's not happening here, but to spin the stories about the position that these men and women in law enforcement are being put in. If you guys do that, then the legislators who are affecting these laws, maybe they'll feel the pressure of your questions, like the question you asked about response time.
Okay, next round will be about the two arrests we had in the shooting and the homicide incident from Woods End. Start off again with Carly. Any questions?
Hi, for the arrest in Jefferson Parish, where in Jefferson Parish was that?
Actual location, not the actual location. Jefferson Parish right now.
With both the Woods End shooting and this shooting that happened last night, it seems like there were just large crowds of people kind of gathered around outside, and it wasn't inside the specific venue itself. What kind of actions can be taken here? What can the city do to get ahead of these kinds of issues?
Well, I can speak to it. Obviously, at the Wits End, the owner of the Wits End did the things that he knew to do. He had hired a security officer, a very senior, loved, respected security officer who was doing his job. So in those particular situations, it is so unfortunate. But there is a message for those. If you're going to be in venues where there are large crowds or gatherings, you need to be very mindful. You need to be attentive and just think about your surroundings. Watch out with each other. And that's what I would say as just a sense of crime prevention for people. They should be mindful when they are in larger crowds.
And Oliver, I knew that you knew Daryl personally. I don't know if you want to say anything about him and what kind of person he was in most of the community service.
I think from the mayor to everyone who knew Daryl, what's been said about Daryl's been said. He was a gentle giant. He was the volunteer of the year. He was the person who helped induct me into the Lawless Hall of Fame. He came to our cleanups. He was a proud Pythian, proud Ninth Warder, proud New Orleanian, and he was doing his job. To the evil people and the bad people who want to hurt people, it doesn't matter that he was a good person. It doesn't matter that he was doing his job. And I would hope that we would support the work that the men and women that are behind us are doing to make sure that those people who don't care about people like Daryl and what they stand for are taken off the street.
There you go, Whitney.
Were these arrest results of the community coming forward? With any tips or leads?
We had warrants out, and so we were in pursuit of them based on their warrants. And so that's why I mean what I say. We are finding our ability to find you is very high. We'd like to prevent it to begin with. That's really the number one thing, is to prevent the next shooting. But if you do engage in shooting, we are going to find who you are. We are going to put a warrant on you, and we're going to go get you. And so you're going to give your freedoms up. You're going to be, if you're convicted, you're going to prison. And goodbye to your freedoms. And so our ability to find you is very high. But we do, first and foremost, want to try to prevent it by identifying retaliatory potential shootings. We do have services. If you want out, we have a holistic approach. We can help you break cycles that you have found yourself in instead of picking up a gun. Put the gun down. We do have options for you. You call us, we will get you plugged in. That's what our main goal is, okay?
Chief Kirkpatrick, you have in the past voiced your support for creating a gun-free zone in the French Quarter. In light of these other events, would you consider extending it to other parts of the city at times?
Oh my gosh, I would have. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm speaking on this one, Mayor. I support that we shouldn't have never have a legislative bill that passed for even permitless carry. Okay, so that's my position. I think I speak for our city here, but they did it anyway, right? And so on Wednesday, there is another opportunity to go before the legislators, and we would like to make an appeal, not only for the French Quarter, but let's think about if I couldn't get the whole city of New Orleans carved out, That's what I would like, is the whole city of New Orleans carved out, right? One size does not fit all. New Orleans is unique. Ever since I competed here, I've heard about the wonderful, unique culture of New Orleans, and that's what it is. But it is one that has been a magnet for gun violence, okay? So New Orleans should be cut out. If I can't get all of New Orleans, not just the French Quarter, but to use the terminology I believe Chief Gernon used it this morning, who's not in the room, but the hospitality area. To me, that would be, is it Carrollton to the river? All of the warehouse district. So like Calliope, all the way. I'm sorry, I'm still learning my streets.
And District C.
You see, the hospitality district. So, for instance, last night's shooting was not in the quarter. It was in the warehouse district. So we need as broad of a gun-free zone as possible. And that would include what I would call that hospitality zone. So you've got the Superdome all the way down Poydras. Think about all the people who are going to leave those venues and they're going to walk down to go to the hospitality areas. Okay, that's what I would be saying. All right, let's not go backwards in gun violence. And this bill not only puts us going backwards, but also endangers every law enforcement officer out here, because our knowing you're carrying does not give us just immediately the opportunity to check you out. And that creates a higher risk to safety, not only of this public, but to these officers. It's not okay. It was not thought through. I've said enough.
All good, Chief. All good, Chief.
The issue about the arrest made, I believe, in Georgia from morning. I do know that was like a traffic stop that led to this guy being arrested. His name was ran, or do we know what happened?
I don't know the details on that. Do any of our federal partners know? I do know there was a warrant. Okay, like I said, we're going to find out who you are. We're going to put a warrant on you, and we're going to go after you nationally, anywhere you go.
I'll wrap this up. If you have anything offline, please deal with either us or the mayor's communication staff. We can help you with offline questions. We appreciate y'all coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.